Hello everyone, and welcome to my Hip Pause Self-Care Series, Season 1, Episode 1, Food. My name is Alex Tai, and I am co-owner of Mora Ceramics. I am so excited to share this series of self-care with you guys because I found through my research and with talking to people about it that a lot of people don't really know what self-care is. A lot of people think that self-care is taking time to read a book or doing your nails, which is a good part of self-care, but there is so much more to self-care than that. So in this series, I have divided self-care into 4 seasons. We have physical self-care, emotional self-care, mental self-care, and environmental self-care. So I chose to do physical self-care first because physical self-care is easy to do actually. It's easy to control and we often get instant results from it. Whereas mental self-care and emotional self-care, that actually takes a lot more work and it's really, really hard to control your thoughts and your emotions. So that's going to be later on. And this whole series is going to be about just healing if we need to heal, taking care of ourselves, talking about our issues, learning how to deal with our issues and everything like that. But first of all, with physical, we need to feel good. So we need to heal from the outside in and also from the inside out. So with physical today, we're going to talk about food. And no, I'm not going to talk about what to eat to lose weight or, certain diets. I don't do diets because I don't believe in them. I have done diets before and I have lost weight, and then you plateau, right? And then you might give up and then gain even more weight than before. And to me, it's just not a very healthy way, even mentally and emotionally for me. So what I'm gonna talk about today with food is not to diet or what kind of foods to eat necessarily, but more I'm going to talk about what times you should eat in the day. And I've done a lot of research on Chinese medicine. So why have I done research on Chinese medicine? Well, let me tell you. I have lived in Taiwan for 5 years now. I'm still here in Taiwan. I have a degree in learning Chinese as a foreign language. I also found the love of my life here and got married to a Taiwanese man. And so throughout these 5 years, I've learned a lot about Chinese medicine, especially traditional Chinese medicine. And in Taiwan, they have incorporated traditional Chinese medicine into so many of the decisions they make, like how to exercise, when to eat food, even like drying your hair. There's so many things we can talk about, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to always incorporate a little bit of TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. I'll call it TCM from now, but I will incorporate a little bit of TCM in here and now. Okay, so let's get started on food. One thing that I learned is that you should be eating the same time every day, almost like a robot. Like our bodies are like machines, according to TCM. So that means every morning, eat breakfast. And they say around 7:30 to 9 is when you should eat breakfast. Every day from 11 to 1 o'clock, eat lunch. And then every evening from 5 o'clock to maybe 7, you should eat dinner. If you were ever one of those people who seem to skip meals, that was myself, including myself. I think I do talk about this in my blog, so if you're ever interested, you can go check out my blog, moraceramics.com, under Mora Stories. But growing up, I hated vegetables. I actually hated meal times because I have hypersensitivity, and as a child, I had extreme hypersensitivity. So anything with food textures, like it creeped me out, especially fruits and vegetables. But my parents often would force me to eat them because, they're loving parents, want me to be healthy. So I hated meal times, and I don't actually ever remember feeling hungry. And I think that's because I was always snacking during the day, and I would snack on horrible things like, candy and chocolate and chips and all that. And so growing up, I never really had a huge mentality on I have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I often skipped meals. maybe because I was too busy, or sometimes honestly I would skip meals to save calories for dinner, because as I grew up, of course, I started to like foods more and you kind of get this mentality like, oh, I can lose weight this way, but really it's not a good way. Another reason why I wouldn't eat dinner regularly was of my job. Back in the States, I was a gymnastics teacher, and I often worked from 4 o'clock to maybe 9:30, and so that is your dinner time, and we would have 5 minutes rest between each classes. So it was really hard to sneak in a meal, and then I would come home and I was so ravenous. Like, I would eat. Sometimes I would drive past a McDonald's on my way home, and it was so tempting to get McDonald's. Like, it was really hard. That work schedule was really hard on me, and I worked there for 5 years. So coming to Taiwan and just in a totally different environment, it changed me so much. And so here I'm just going to tell you my notes and what I've done, and how I felt. So the first day I did this, I worked out that day after dinner, and I woke up at like 6 o'clock, and I never wake up at 6 o'clock, and I was hungry, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait for breakfast. I still had to wait. I tried to lay in bed a little longer because I was planning on eating breakfast at 7:30, but I was like, oh, I can't wait to eat breakfast. So that was kind of cool for me to wake up so early and not feel tired. And then as the days went on, I've done this for 1 week, and as the days went on, I just look forward so much to every meal. Like, when it comes around 11:30, I'm so excited for lunch that I usually have lunch at noon, and around 5, 6, I try to have dinner at 6. Around 6 o'clock, I look so forward to dinner. And so what you should do, what TCM recommends, is in the morning, eat like a king. So have your carbs, your protein, your fat, have like a nice breakfast that is filling, okay? And they say to do this, there's a few reasons. Number one, if you skip breakfast, your stomach will continue to secrete gastric acids, and so that will result in maybe some ulcers or inflammation down there, stomach aches. So you really should not skip breakfast. And also in TCM, they talk about something called Jingmai. Now, your Jingmai is, I can't translate it in English because it doesn't exist in English. Maybe I will be the one to make an English word for this someday. But your Jingmai is the same kind of channel they use for acupuncture. And so it's something that us Westerners aren't super familiar with. But the Jingmai goes through the spleen, and the spleen helps make qi, which is another Chinese word. But the qi goes and with the blood, it puts qi into the blood, and it puts all that qi into your vital organs. So if you have that qi in your vital organs, your body feels good, you're more balanced, and you have like energy, and you're not weak in those areas. It's really hard to talk about because it is something that we do not talk about in Western culture. This TCM is something so strong in Chinese culture that goes way, way, way back in history. So us learning about it right now, it's hard to find even the right English words to use. But I will get better and better at using English words to describe this. Just bear with me. The spleen also has a connection with our brain function. So by eating breakfast in the morning, we're also able to through the spleen be able to support brain function. So it's really important to not skip breakfast in the morning. Okay, now lunch. Lunch, during this time, your qi and blood runs to the heart and the small intestines. So the digestive system can easily absorb nutrients in the food. I had a hair in my nose. Okay, so I'm going to put a picture here of this triangle, and the triangle here is talking about breakfast being on top, lunch being in the middle, and dinner being on the bottom. So as you can see here, the breakfast part is the biggest and it has the most amount of food. The lunch is suggested to have a balanced lunch. So we want to have some starch, some protein, some vegetables, and some oil or fat. And so if you have a balanced lunch, your body still is able to digest it well because the small intestine is working very hard at this time. And so you also don't have to be worried that you're going to eat too much or anything like that. For dinner, it's going to be around 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And if you have followed the plan of having a big breakfast and a balanced lunch, you're not going to be ravenous. Like, unlike me before, when I would have a small breakfast or skip breakfast completely and then have like a small lunch, you're ravenous by the time dinner comes, right? But this time, if you follow this plan, you're not going to be so hungry for dinner, but you still need to eat something light. At dinner time, the sun is going down, the earth on your end of wherever you're living is starting to rest. You know, animals out there are starting to rest, and our body is designed to live on a 24-hour day. So our body also knows that once it gets time to be evening time, that certain organs need to rest. And so if during this resting time we give it a lot of spicy food, heavy food, fatty food, it has to work extra hard to digest, and it's not getting the rest it needs. It's not preparing to go to sleep. So what TCM recommends for dinner is to have fibrous vegetables, some lean proteins like tofu or fish, and then a little starch, and that's just a perfect way to fill your stomach and get some nutrients in your body without feeling ultra full. And this is another fun thing that like almost every Chinese family I know does, and I never knew why, and now I know. They have a habit of eating fruit about 30 minutes to an hour after they eat dinner, my mother-in-law included. And I always thought that that was just her random like habit that she liked to do. But actually, according to TCM, this is what you should do. This is when you should eat fruit. And that is because your body, if you have fruit after your dinner, you can easily absorb the calcium and the calcium and the iron in the meal that you had. So that's something super cool to me, that TCM recommends that. So then afterwards, if you're scared that you're gonna be hungry before bed, which that was always one of my fears because I can't sleep if I'm hungry. So what they recommend is to drink some warm milk at around 8 o'clock. Not cold. If you have cold, your body also has to work hard to heat it up and digest it. So they say don't drink cold milk, drink warm milk, and it's very soothing for your stomach and the other parts of your body that has to digest the food. Do not eat up to 4 hours before you sleep, because that is just when your organs, everything needs to rest. So don't eat during that time. Especially from 11 p.m. to 1 p.m. Sorry, sometimes I'm looking down because I'm looking at my notes here. But this is the most important time for your body to rest. It is when the Jingmai goes through the gallbladder. And the gallbladder actually has to do with us feeling fatigued or not. I did not know this, but if your gallbladder doesn't get the rest it needs, you will feel tired the next day. So if you're eating anywhere from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., and if you're tired the next day, let me know, because I almost want to do an experiment on myself, like eat at like 12 o'clock, eat at midnight, and see if that affects my fatigue the next day. Maybe I should try that. But it's kind of like self-harm. So, and we're doing a self-care series, so maybe I won't. But yeah, that's just what I learned through some research. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how I feel. I've done this for 1 week, and honestly, I'm sleeping better, which is huge because I have trouble sleeping. I look forward to each meal. I look forward to cooking more. I don't ever feel deprived. Like before, if I was trying to eat cleaner or like eat less, get fit, I often felt deprived, and which often leads to cravings, like really bad cravings. But with this, I feel like I want to eat something, I eat it, but I just gotta wait till dinner time, or I gotta wait till lunch. And I don't really, honestly, I'm not craving any bad food. Bad food, that's a bad word. I shouldn't say bad food. I'm not craving any sugary foods or like chips or anything. I just eat wholesome foods, which is really interesting. Actually, I haven't even thought about it. Like, I haven't had chocolate in 1 week, and that's huge. One time I did have hot chocolate, which was homemade. So yeah, that is something amazing for me because I normally have to eat chocolate every day. I'm just realizing that now. So weird. I'm also exercising a lot this last week, and I felt good when Okay, I just had the most horrible experience. My phone ran out of memory and I tried to do all these things and nothing was working, so I'm coming back in here. So after like a couple hours later. But okay, I was talking about exercising and I felt really energized with my exercise. I wasn't tired. I didn't feel like I was pushing myself, dragging myself to the gym. So that's really good. If you yourself eat 3 meals a day at the same time every day, let me know in the comments below. If you're one of those snackers who just snack all day and don't eat at regular times, like more of a sporadic eater like I used to be, let me know. If you've tried this, for a couple days and you feel good, let me know. Just if you have any questions whatsoever, let me know. I love to talk with you guys. I love seeing your comments and everything else. Feel free to check me out at IG at Morris Ceramics. I talk a lot about self-care on there, and it's a lot more raw footage of me and my daily life, so that's kind of fun. Feel free to check us out at morrisceramics.com with my little mugs. I have more stories on there which talks about our blog and about self-care, but also our mugs are available on Amazon. If you go to morrisceramics.com and then under our products, it'll take you right to the Amazon site. And our products are designed by me and my husband, and our slogan is Hit Pause, so it's meant for us to hit pause, take care of ourselves, and live the best life possible. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. I love you all, and don't forget to take care of yourself and eat good. Love you all. Goodbye.